Hi, it's Kirsty. Today I wanted to show you how I use my brushes. I think it's very important that if you buy brushes, you also know how to use them. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So, to start off, this is my first brush. It's the hard fill pencil brush, and this is how it looks like. So the important thing about this brush is that it changes the size with pressure. And as you can see, it can get very, very small depending on how much pressure I use. I use this brush for filling or blocking in colors. For example, mainly the base coloration of like hair, skin and clothing. And the good thing about this brush, or you could say its specialty, is that you can fill in very, very small areas like corners of the hair strands, because you can just lower the pressure, and that allows you to fill in very small areas. So the next brush, it's the details brush and basically it does the same, but I have to press very hard to get a size similar to this, because it's for the very fine details. And as you can see, I can draw very thin and sharp lines with this brush. I use it for the eyelashes or very detailed, sharp hair strands, mostly the ones that are cornering the face. So the third brush is the PaintTool brush, and it's my absolute favorite. As the name suggests, it's super painterly and I color every smooth area with it, and also sometimes render it with this brush. When you use a second color, it looks weird because it doesn't blend that well here. But if you create a new layer, you can blend that color in better. So keep that in mind if you're using this brush. One other important thing about this brush, it's my go-to sketching brush. Usually in size 9, and I use it for sketching, and I love it because I'm so comfortable with this brush. So I don't recommend using this brush for sketching if you already have a good sketching brush, because for sketching the most important thing, at least for me, is to feel comfortable. And if you are already very comfortable with the brush you have, then keep on using that one and master it. This is a very hard to use brush because you have to get a feel for it. So don't feel pressured to use this brush, but you can try it out and maybe it is for you. So my next brush is also very, very simple. It's the airbrush. And with the airbrush, I have two uses. The first use is for blush. I love to give the skin more color on certain areas, especially blush. And this is what this brush allows me to do. But the even more important thing about this brush is basically, if you have seen my step-by-step pictures and look at the third process, I even call it the airbrush process, because that's everything I do in this step. So basically you do the sketch, maybe with this brush, then you are doing the base coloration with this brush, and what I sometimes like to do is creating or adding a background to get a feel for the colors and mood that I'm going for, and also so that I can define a lighting source and imagine it better. But it's not necessary, you can also work without a background. So when I'm done with this, I usually go over my base coloration with this airbrush. It allows me to make the character more three-dimensional, add soft gradients where needed, and it kind of helps me to define where I want the shadows to be, and I can render them out in detail later. But it also helps me to kind of decide where I want certain areas to blend more smoothly with the background, especially areas that are not in the foreground and don't require as much detail. So the last brush that I want to show you today is actually not a brush because we require this one first so that I can give you a proper idea. And this one is the brush, it's the blur brush, and it allows you to blend. You can do that very, very smoothly for maybe some light effects, but I usually press harder for better blending, and it allows me to kind of have this effect like I'm working with water, and I can smoothly blend out my colors or blend them with each other. And I love to do that, especially for things like makeup and skin, so it appears very, very smooth. So these are my main brushes. You don't need anything else really to draw a portrait in like how I do it, but I included a special brush for you, and it's this one. It's called Fairy Dust, and the best way to use it is to have kind of a medium pressure and then a very soft pressure around the edge. Just like this. And then you can make your brush a bit smaller and press hard to increase the density here. And now you can pick a color with more white in it and even go a little bit smaller. And add the final touch. And now if you look from afar, it has this fairy dust glitter effect. This is a new brush because I love glitter and I love glittery skin. I love adding glitter to the makeup, sometimes the hair, or it's also very beautiful if used in fabrics for dresses. And usually what I did was using the hard fill brush and yeah, draw it by hand, just like this. And it's a very tedious task that takes a lot of time, so I made this brush for you. I hope you enjoy, and if you have questions, please let me know. You can always PM me, and I hope you have lots of fun with these brushes. I will include Procreate brushes when I feel more comfortable with them, because as of now I haven't really developed a feel for most of the brushes there, so I don't feel that confident to share them. And also the brushes that I feel confident with in Procreate are not my brushes. I have them from other artists, so they are not mine to share. One last important thing would be how you can use these brushes in PaintTool SAI, because sadly we cannot just drag and drop a file and then we have the brushes. We need to recreate them manually. So the hard fill brush, for example, every brush has these advanced settings. They are important, but this is also important. So you right click on an area where you have no brush, and then you select which kind of brush you want to create. I have written that down for every brush. So the hard fill is a pencil brush. See, it's the same symbol as here. So what you do now is you copy the settings of my hard fill brush onto this pencil. And the best way to do this is to open up the PNG that I did send you and just compare it. If you have done that step, you can go to options and rename it, because you can rename it to the same name as my brushes. But you can also, with time, maybe give them your own names. Or the more important thing, you can assign a shortcut key. I have this for every brush that I use. For example, my hard fill brush is on N. And my other brushes here are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And this allows you to work a lot more faster. Maybe not in the beginning, because you still have to get used to it, but trust me, it's worth it. So that's everything from me. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you enjoyed this lots and that it was helpful to you. Bye!